Welcome to the JMark Business Innovation Technology Experience.
Welcome to the Business Innovation Technology Experience. This is Todd Nielsen, Thomas Douglas, Christina Coons, and Dax Bambro from JMark Business Solutions. And today we are going to talk about Dax's favorite topic of collaboration.
It is. This is actually a topic I'm really excited to talk about. I've become pretty passionate about this since joining JMark especially, so I'm excited.
So for those who don't know, the marketing team is 6 employees in 4 states, right? Did I get that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Utah, Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. So what are some of the things we've done on the marketing team, or what are the things that we have done that you guys feel have greatly improved the collaboration?
I think we're in the middle of showing an example right now using video conferencing applications and software to be able to be together, have meetings, work together even when we're not in the same place. We've used it, of course, for meetings, but there have been days where a few of us have left the video conference on all day and sort of worked on separate things, and then been in the same room, even without being in the same room, and able to chat with each other real quick if we had a question, rather than it becoming a bigger process to try to contact somebody who's thousands of miles away. And it can be really effective.
So Tom, you have a much bigger picture. There's employees all over, and of course there's lots of employees in Springfield, but what are some of the tools that JMark uses to make sure that collaboration isn't a hindrance?
Well, I think my favorite tool in this arena is Facebook Workplace. Since we have implemented that as an organization, we've not only seen the culture across geographies come together, we've seen the culture across teams and within teams come together much more effectively. I think that one of the greatest things that happens in that environment is because it's such a known interface, the adoption is so high, and it's created in such a way where people want to interact with it. It's not a tool that they dread to use. We all get to the point where it's like, oh, I got to look at my email again, or oh, I got to listen, read this message thread again, or whatever it is. But when you're doing it in an environment with an interface that you enjoy working in, where you can pull up video, or you can do the chat, or you can put the funny GIFs in there, you can do those things. It creates a fun experience that everybody comes together with. And inside of our organization, we used to get feedback like JMark needs to improve its communication. Communication is a weak point for JMark, all the way to in one of our more recent employee feedback surveys, the feedback was, I've never worked in a company where the communication is as great as it is at JMark. And a big part of that is because of Workplace. And because we're constantly putting information out there for people to consume, but not so much that it becomes overwhelming. It's relevant information that helps people speed up. And it's been a whole lot of fun. We operate with clients in 43 states now, and to keep track of all of the information, the thousands of devices, the circumstances that can happen in technology, we have to be able to move fast, find information fast, collaborate quickly to solve problems for our clients. And without Workplace, I don't know how we would achieve that.
I think just to give some background on that, based on that latest survey, we've had some extremely animated conversations on the executive team and in annual planning about communication over the last 5 to 6 years. It's been a little bit of a long road, and we're a tech company that has access to tons of tools and tons of different things, and we kind of threw our cards down and invested into Workplace. And you're exactly right. It's such an easy thing to get into because people know Facebook, and it's different, but it's not a far cry. People understand social media. People understand that type of application, and so implementing it at JMark, there wasn't really like a big training. It was, hey everybody, we're going to do this. Go here and sign up, and everybody just kind of
we went
did it.
Yeah. Well, when you break it down and you think about what it means to create an environment in which people want to operate, nobody has the chops like Facebook. They have 3 billion daily subscribers to Facebook. And as a result of that, they can take the feedback from 3 billion people on a daily basis to figure out what they like to do, what they don't like to do, to tweak the environment so that it's engaging. They've taken all of that knowledge and then they've transported that into a work application that's private and secure that allows businesses to get things done. So where else in the world can you take the feedback of 3 billion people to create a platform that does a great job? And that's exactly what has occurred.
I think in my own personal experience, it goes beyond simply, people think they hear Facebook, they hear Workplace, and their first reaction is that it's mostly a communication tool because there are such great chat features and stuff like that. But one thing I've been surprised about that we seem to be using more and more and more often are tools that are literal collaboration tools, sharing documents. Christina can message me and say, oh, hey, do you have that document that we worked on a few days ago? I'm not sure where it is. And I can just reply back to her with the document. There's no that hindrance of going to email and attaching a document. It just gets right back to her. Same thing with working together on things. You can create rooms. Todd and I have a room where when we're working on stuff together, we can just throw ideas in there that need to be collected somewhere, but we can save them for a meeting we're going to have in a week and talk about them then, or respond to them and add to those ideas and just work on those things together. And they're in a place we both have access to, and where we are every day. We're not opening up another application in order to do that.
Yeah, it seamlessly
You can also open your own groups too. Sorry, Tom.
No, you go ahead.
Well, Dex was saying how, you and Todd have your own group. You can even have your own group with just yourself where only you can see everything, and that's how you can organize all your own work too. So everything's in one place. Yeah,
I've made the joke plenty of times that I'm going to open up the Utah office group, and it would just be me because I'm the only JMark employee in Utah, but it would be a special group.
Well, I think one of the byproducts that I didn't anticipate when we implemented it in the organization was the substantial reduction in email. I would throw it at about a 30%, maybe a 40% reduction in internal email as a result of having Workplace, because you're putting public information in a public place rather than sending another email to everybody in the organization who then hits reply to all that creates this plethora of emails in the organization. That just doesn't occur. You put it in the right formats for the right groups or teams that need to consume that information, and there's no emails. People always have access to it, and the search functions are amazing. So you can just search whatever the topic is, and it'll search across all your groups, find what you're looking for, and allow you to get it done. So for me, who has historically had to deal with hundreds and hundreds of emails on a daily basis, it's been a game changer in productivity.
Yeah, just so there's some numbers. Oh, gosh, go ahead. Let me find the exact numbers so that I can share them.
I just wanted to hear a little bit about your experience actually going to visit Facebook.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty exciting. So JMark was fortunate enough to be selected by Facebook to be one of the few managed service providers that they're going to partner with in the country to implement and help organizations to utilize Facebook Workplace. And as a part of that, I got to go out there and experience what it's like on the campus. So I got to meet some of the senior people within Facebook Workplace. I got to see how they use it. I got to learn about how it was birthed. Essentially, it was a tool that they originally started within Facebook to collaborate about how they were getting their own projects done. And so they created the private environment of Facebook Workplace as an internal tool. And when organizations would come to them because they had grown so fast, it's like, well, how did you keep up? How did you deal with all the moving changes within Facebook when it was growing so fast? Well, they started to share this internal tool and how they used it, and other organizations and enterprises said, I want that. And so they commercialized it. They went through the security certification processes and then published it. So it was amazing to see not only the environment in which they operate, but to hear the stories about how it was created and then what's happened over the years as it's grown. Today, you know, the biggest clients of Facebook Workplace are Walmart and Starbucks. I mean, they're making these huge impacts with this product because it has the capability to really be a game changer.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal.
So one of the numbers that I was just looking back in the report from Workplace is called connections. And what the connections is it's measuring essentially posts on a timeline, comments on a post, interactions, messages. And in the last 28 days, there have been 9,158 connections. So if you think about that from a culture standpoint, I mean, it's massive. I mean, the number of interactions that is happening just through Workplace could happen via email or some other format is just amazing. And there's almost a personality to it of sorts, you know? I mean, when you like a post or you do a little emoticon or you do a meme or something like that, it creates a different experience than just an email. And sure, you can put emoticons in emails, and you can put memes in emails and videos and different things, but it's that instant, like, back and forth interaction that improves the culture and collaboration. And I mean, it's amazing. We've reduced our emails by hundreds of thousands over the course of a year.
Absolutely. If you go back and you think about some of the companies that are culture champions, you know, Tony Hsieh and Zappos, you know, they used to design their offices so that people had collisions. So in other words, whenever they would get up from their desk and they would go somewhere else in the organization, that they would interact with them. And they had rules that you had to say hi, and you had, anytime you came within 4 feet of someone, you had to say something, you know, to greet them. But it created the collisions, and they designed their whole organization around that because it drove a positive culture. And he was and is known for creating one of the greatest cultures of all times. So when you take the principle of what it means to create that strong culture and you apply it to technology, that's what has occurred with Facebook Workplace. Because rather than collisions, it's the connections that you have, and you could have thousands of connections on a monthly basis where you would never have those any other way. In fact, you would dread them if you got them all via email, but when you get to interact with it, it feels so natural and fun that people actually get a benefit from it. They get an endorphin high from being in there and getting work done. So it's two birds with one stone for sure.
And
I think
from a remote worker standpoint, it makes a huge difference, because when I am there in Springfield, I already know people I don't necessarily work with every day, but I've communicated with them on Workplace in the way that Todd is talking about. I know their personalities, and so it's like just, you know, walking to a different part of the office, but instead I've traveled a few thousand miles and then come to the office, but it's people that I already know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the other thing too is you can make Workplace what you want. You know, we have groups that are, the purpose of the group is just for notifications. You know, it's not really meant for high interaction and creating collisions. It's just for informing people, letting people know. Mm-hmm. We have groups where it's very personal and one-on-one. We have groups where it's, you know, emergency-related stuff, announcements that notifications that everybody needs to know about. And so it's the beauty of it is, you know, the thing about, like, just Facebook is you have to adapt to their platform. You know, it's what it is. Whereas with Workplace, they've made it in a way that you can essentially adapt it to your business.
Yep.
And create the culture and create the communication and the, all those flashes and stuff in different ways. So it's been wonderful.
I think one really important thing, Todd, is you mentioned all these different groups, and we've talked a lot about communication. And I think there's also the important factor of the opposite side of that, of what doesn't have to be communicated in certain cases, where what I mean is we have groups that are only people that are in the Tulsa office. So if only the people in the Tulsa office need to know, hey, here's something that only affects us, not everybody else has to be informed of that. That can be kept over there, and things can be isolated that way. And that in its own has a big effect of saving time and saving people's attention for the things that matter to them. And I think that's just as important aspect of enhancing communication as actual creating avenues of communication.
Absolutely, cutting out the noise.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I think one of the other byproducts that is worth communicating is around continuing education. What we're working in, Zoom and other platforms plug directly into the Facebook Workplace platform. So if we need to record a seminar or a webinar or an educational process within our organization so that others can go back and can consume that on their schedule, then it creates a great ability to do that. So employee onboarding can be very consistent. A specific application training can be very specific and repeatable. Going through Microsoft training in our environment, Cisco training, HP training, all of those things, we can capture all of that, even from an entire room, and then put it into the Workplace platform. And then anybody who joins the company or who wasn't able to attend can still absorb that information and make sure that they didn't miss a beat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have, it really goes down to the personal level. I mean, we have groups that love grilling, grilling burgers and steak, and we have groups for just various interests that people have throughout the organization. And it doesn't really, I think a lot of people would look at that and go, why would you want that in a business environment? Isn't that a kind of a productivity loss right there? But it's really about making connections, and it's really about making friends and creating a better culture.
Absolutely.
It's amazing an application can do that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when people feel connected to the entire business, they want to stay and they want to do good things within the business. And so the more situations or opportunities that we have to create that connectedness, it just helps the retention of the whole team and drives that positivity up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. I feel just as connected and collaborative with you two as I do with Michelle, who sits right here. And I think a big part of that is due to Workplace. It's pretty cool. And when I tell people that my boss lives in Texas, they're like, what? Like, that's it. What? I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't affect anything.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we have a couple press releases on our website regarding Workplace and Facebook, and along with this post, we'll post some more information on how you can learn more about Workplace. We have people inside the organization that can help implement it, help teach you about it. A lot of good stuff. Until next time, keep collaborating and make it awesome. Take care.
Thank you for attending this podcast. We hope it has been informative and helped convey that at JMark, we are people first and technology second. To learn more and discover additional content relevant to your business, please visit us online at jmark.com or at LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You may also call us at 844-44-JMark. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you again.